2025 for me was a year of exploring, not just through my gold DV, but also through a lot of new media. Last year, I spent so much of my time playing through, watching, listening to new stuff in a way that I hadn't really done in previous years. There's also a lot of diving back into older stuff that I had kind of lost interest in, such as MCU, a couple of TV shows, and some video games like Prison Architect. I decided it'd be fun to have a look back at all of the new things I watched, listened to, or played last year, including films, games, TV shows, and music. My name is Joel. I often trip on power cables and enjoy forcefully telling people about my opinions. A must-have exclusive for Switch 2, a Game of the Year nominee, and a completely revolutionary 3D platformer. Donkey Kong Bonanza has won so many people over. I absolutely loved the game. It was great fun the entire way through, but it wasn't something I could blast my way through in the way a lot of other games that I played last year were. And still, a great game from start to finish. Joe Keery was a breakout start from Stranger Things, which is a show I have not seen, but I have seen Free Guy. So when I heard that the same guy from that one silly video game movie I watched had a music career, I was vaguely intrigued. It was the end of 2024 when my bandmates brought End of Beginning as a song to learn. I was pleasantly surprised. It was simple, but enjoyable, vibey. So I listened to the album it was from, and it was about the same. Alright, nothing special. In spring last year, Joe Keery released another album. We're 4 months into the year, and nothing has released. So I'm craving something new, something fresh, maybe something alternative, because alternative music was in the trenches for the first half of last year. And Spotify recommends me The Crux. What an album. It's such a fun album. It's got so much vibes, so many sad songs, so many stylish songs, so many completely out of left field happy songs. The album opener, Lonesome is a State of Mind, is great and totally different from anything I'd heard in a really long time. The lead single, Basic Being Basic, was great fun. Delete Ya is a pure fun pop song. The album climaxes with a slow love ballad called Fly, which is excellent. Then, immediately after, you're met with a complete Beatles pastiche in Charlie's Garden. But the penultimate track, Back on You, is easily my favourite. It opens with about 30 seconds of gospel choir, which leads very nicely into a completely different tone in the verse and chorus. Check out the album. It's great.
Do you know what I'm finding?
What?
The longer this game goes on,
less people.
Have you found that as well?
No one expected a celebrity spin-off of The Traitors to be good. It just doesn't make sense. No reality TV is good when they bring celebrities into it. Celebrity Traitors defied the odds. It wasn't just good. It was excellent. Obviously, part of that may just be that Traitors is one of the best reality TV shows around, but another is they got real celebrities. Maybe not for Americans, but they're our celebrities, British celebrities. We had a good mix of ages, fame levels, even celebrities that I'm not usually that big on, like Stephen Fry or Lucy Beaumont, were decently entertaining throughout the entire thing. There were only 4 celebrities that I wasn't familiar with before watching. Joe Marler. Ruth
Listen
Codd.
in my ear and tell me it's raining. Like, I know what I heard.
Cat Burns.
It's okay, let it out.
Okay.
If you can, more in tune.
And Tamika Edmondson. The first 3 of which turned out to be me and my family's favourites on the show, particularly Joe Marler. The cash prize, being for charity rather than personal, allowed the celebrities to be much kinder to each other. Was a brilliant refresher after how horrible everyone was in Series 3. It was overall a really great season of TV.
Can you pass the marmalade?
That is mahogany.
I read the original 3 Hunger Games books back in 2021 and absolutely loved them. They are easily some of my favourite books of all time, particularly Catching Fire. So when Sunrise on the Reaping released last March, which was brilliant, by the way, I decided to finally watch the original films. 1 and 2 are both brilliant, and I do enjoy both Mockingjay films quite a lot. Though it was unneeded to split them into two films, and there are a lot of unnecessary, albeit enjoyable, scenes in both films. Jennifer Lawrence was an excellent lead as Katniss, and Josh Hutcherson as Peter brought a new side to a character I never really clicked with in the books. But just as with the books they were adapting, the standout for me was Haymitch, played by Woody Harrelson. I've loved Woody Harrelson in everything he's been in, but he's particularly excellent in all 4 of these films.
There are 100,000 aliens out there. And I killed 11 of them. You're welcome.
Last year, I tried to catch up with the MCU before Spider-Man Brand New Day and Doomsday this year. So I found myself watching a lot of not super great superhero stuff. Eternals was overstuffed. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was extremely messy. Marvels was poor. Black Panther 2. Let's just say I might have found my least favourite MCU film. But when I watched the debut show for my all-time favourite superhero, I found myself having more fun with anything MCU since No Way Home, maybe even Infinity War. The Hawkeye show from late 2021 is in a close race with Loki and Guardians 3 for my favourite Marvel projects post-Endgame, the other 2 of which I watched this year. Kate Bishop, though not as good as her comic counterpart, is a great new character. And Clint is as good as he usually is. A lot of that comes from the actors, as Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner are both superb actors and have great father-daughter type chemistry within the show. Almost every episode felt like a direct reference to a comic storyline, usually Fraction's Hawkeye run. It's just a shame Kate hasn't appeared in anything besides the Marvel's post-credit scene since.
Where's the dog?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Superman was easily the most fun film I watched last year. The story was genuinely heartwarming, and it has an absolutely superb ending. In my opinion, David Corenswet gives an extremely realistic and friendly interpretation of Superman. Max charisma level Jimmy Olsen is hilarious to watch. Mr. Terrific is, of course, terrific. And in my opinion, Nicholas Hoult was perfect casting for Lex Luthor. Really looking forward to both Supergirl and Man of Tomorrow.
Ripped and irresistible dreamboat, I know. You still can't just tear a guy's clothes off.
Devil May Cry was a fun-filled, action-packed adventure with more swearing in one episode than the every season of Taskmaster put together, exclusively from this woman. As someone who's only played 30 minutes of Devil May Cry 4 before my 360 basically exploded and started only running Halo 3 and Connected Ventures, I have no input as this show as an adaptation. But from an outsider's perspective, I loved it. The action was fluid, superbly animated, and immensely satisfying. I loved Dante, I loved Mary, I loved White Rabbit. I hated this guy, but I think I was meant to. I genuinely can't wait for season 2.
True. Yeah, you can say vagina if you want.
Vagina.
After several weeks series in a row, Taskmaster came back big with Series 19, at least according to my dad. I didn't watch it because Channel 4's streaming service is absolute hellhole, and I didn't want to force my way through ads for something that honestly I haven't been interested in since at least Series 16, if not earlier. Fast forward a few months, and Season 20 comes out. I initially didn't care, for the same reason as Series 19, but then I was finding so many incredible shorts from the Taskmaster YouTube channel on my For You page.
You've just written the words "you know." Yeah, like something quite big, and I've gone. You say something quite big, and I've gone.
My dad had also pre-downloaded the first 6 episodes, which made them so easy to blitz through. And I was met with the most lovable and funny Taskmaster cast since Series 14, maybe even Season 7, which is my favourite series. Maisie Adams was the only member of the cast I knew before watching the new series, and she was brilliant, but she might even be my least favourite of the show.
What? Knee pads, sexy, because they suggest you're going to be on your knees. Phil
Ellis.
Did he design the course? Because that's favouritism if you're letting some of us design it.
Then Reece Shearsmith was constantly getting upset and angry at every single thing that happened in the show, and it was hilarious to watch.
It's not Louise!
Hey? Oh, he's really angry.
Do you know what it is?
Yes, it's one of those things where you pay at restaurants. What about LU?
That's a power!
Oh, yes, that's right, yes.
Phil Ellis.
Phil. Hi.
was absurdly funny in the most literal sense. He was making the most ridiculous comments every 5 seconds, and it was brilliant.
Driving, you think, Chuck?
Panic! And that's your time over.
Yes!
Sanjeev Bhaskar absolutely never gave a toss about anything, and it was brilliant.
I need to go to the loo. Does that come out of my time? Or do you pause it? Got one word for you. Existentialism.
But my favourite of the cast has to be Anya Magliano. She had such a hilarious mix of wholesome innocence and the complete opposite. It was impossible not to love her, and I think she ranks among James Acaster, Phil Wang, Nish Kumar, and Charlotte Ritchie among my favourite contestants of all time.
And I think I did a little wee, which is that you could wash our baby. You were the midwife.
And then some of them needed a bit of lubrication from the old tongue. That's flour, by the way.
Yeah, don't taste everything.
You're the father who left me and Sanjeev is the father who raised me.
Look at it, look at
And if she's up there, then who's flying the plane?
You're doing great, Chuck. Here, for your troubles.
My sister introduced me to Arcane this year, after she watched it at a friend's house and loved it. I'd obviously heard a lot about it, but my family didn't have Netflix until about May of this year. So in February, when she bought a bootleg copy of Series 1 and 2, needless to say I was interested. So I watched it with her, initially hesitant due to the League of Legends IP, and the first 2 episodes being nothing to write home about. Episode 3 was when I realised I was in for a really good show. By the end of Season 1, I was comfortable considering Arcane one of the best series of television I've seen in a long time. And that's this placement. Throughout Season 1, both the Underworld and the Overworld plots are entertaining, one more so than the other. Vi, Jinx, and Silco specifically are all written really well in Season 1, and the 3D animation was some of the best I've ever seen, only really surpassed in my view by the Spider-Verse films. Then, of course, I watched Series 2, and it was supremely less good. It wasn't bad, the animation was still phenomenal, and the music was even better than Series 1. But it was so rushed and messy. This placement is of just Series 1 of the show. They're not my favourite game I played this year. Silksong's pure, unadulterated quality definitely makes it my game of the year. The only reason it's not higher is I'm not really a Metroidvania guy. I already struggle a lot with finishing games, and with Metroidvania, that problem is amplified tenfold. It's really difficult to jump back in after a week or so of not playing, for various reasons. It's very high difficulty, maze-like, and more collectibles than you can keep track of, especially after a week without playing. But even I, someone not usually into Metroidvanias outside of the occasional Metroid Dread, can appreciate Silksong's sheer quality. The world is beautiful, and in my 20 or so hours of playing, I don't even think I've seen half. The bosses are ridiculously fun, but also frustratingly difficult. In a good way, the crest system fixes my main issue with the first Hollow Knight, and the first few hours don't feel slow anymore. It's so much easier to find bosses and collectibles and feel like you're progressing without playing for extended periods of time. It goes without saying, Silksong is one of the greatest Metroidvanias ever, and while I don't think I'll finish it anytime soon, I've loved what I played.
Spelunking. Spelunking. Yeah, you know, cave diving.
Batman Begins is a near-perfect superhero film. It has an incredible cast. Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman are both excellent as usual. Sirius Black and Qui-Gon Jinn are great. And Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is incredible. It has a phenomenal story all the way through, with a great twist and great character development of an origin we've seen many times.
Quite the job you've done on me, sir. You've been hosting parties in my mind.
For several years now, a few of my friends have been desperately trying to get me to listen to Leve. I was never against the idea of trying her, but it was something that just never really was at the forefront of my mind until December last year, when, out of desperation, looking for a couple more for my top 15 albums of the year, for a video on my dad's channel, link below, I decided to check out her new album, Matter of Time. And I was blown away. If you watch my dad's video, you'll notice I originally placed it at third, behind The Crux by Joe. But I've found that this album has just gotten better with every single listen. Clockwork, Clean Air, and Lover Girl are all really fun. Tough Luck is superbly written. Too Little, Too Late and A Cautionary Tale are both beautiful ballads, but my favourite on the album has to be Castle in Hollywood. It has a soaring chorus and excellent verses. In my opinion, it was the second best album of last year. My true favourite video game of 2025, Mario Kart World, is extremely flawed, but nonetheless, I love it. Easily my most played game of last year, excluding Marvel Rivals. It has endless replayability, some of the best tracks in the series, with only 3 or 4 real stinkers, and I don't actually hate the intermissions as much as other people do. Though I do agree that some of the weaker ones are real pace breakers. It has one of my favourite physics systems of any Mario Kart, and while it doesn't even come close to the quality of 8, due to a lot of small nitpicks, I honestly didn't expect it to. 8 is my favourite racing game of all time, and to see Mario Kart World come close, but in the end fall short, is all I needed in a new Mario Kart.
So dumb, it's brilliant.
The Knives Out films have been on my radar for a while, but it wasn't until just after we got Netflix around the middle of the year that I finally watched one on a holiday. It was Glass Onion, and by the end I instantly wanted to watch the first. But I had to wait a while, as it wasn't on Netflix at the time, and no one in my family owned a physical copy. So when I finally watched it in October, I was not disappointed in the slightest. Then, of course, in November, Dead Man Walking released, and somehow it was just as good as its predecessors. Benoit Blanc is a great protagonist, but in my opinion, each of the films is just as much about their supporting cast as they are about Blanc. Marta is excellent in the first, and while Helen/Andy is easily my least favourite, Glass Onion's supporting cast is easily my favourite in the series, particularly Birdie J. And lastly, Judd is easily my favourite main character. Each of the three has strengths and weaknesses in my opinion, which put them almost on equal footing with each other in my eyes. Slay the Spire has quickly become my joint second favourite roguelike of all time. It has a near-perfect balance of strategy and luck, to the point where no run feels unwinnable. A good run can last a huge amount of time. All 4 characters are great fun. The least fun, though, is easily the Ironclad. He's the most basic, without any too interesting strategies, but still a great time to just pump out huge amounts of damage. The Watcher is strategically fun, but has slightly higher reliance on luck than the 2 I prefer, due to the stance system requiring some pretty good hand draws. The Defect is extremely satisfying to get a successful build going for. The Orb system can just be so satisfying to land double 200 damage with the Darkness Orb, and consistent damage or defense with Lightning or Frost Orbs can be really useful. The most fun character, though, in my opinion, is the Silent. It has a strong reliance on building up damage over time using shivs or poison, and most builds use a lot of skill cards, which is my personal favourite way to play the game.
To me, my X-Men.
If you couldn't tell, I got really into superheroes last year. But my favourite non-comic superhero media that I watched for the first time last year was X-Men 97. Easily one of the best shows I have ever seen. I'm not usually one to watch whole shows in a short period of time, but X-Men 97 was able to hold my interest to the point where I was able to watch every episode in just 1 week, which is almost unheard of for me. It's extremely consistent, with only 2 episodes being significantly weaker than the others, being both life-death parts. But on multiple rewatches, I've even come to appreciate those episodes a lot more. And I can appreciate it as a short calm before the storm that is episode 5. On that note, episode 5, remember it, might just be my favourite episode of TV of all time. The first half is full-on character drama, split between Genosha and the X-Men HQ. It's so satisfying to see Rogue finally pick Gambit. And while the stuff back at the mansion is less interesting, it's still really entertaining. But then around halfway through, you get a smash cut, and the genre changes entirely as Master Mold attacks Genosha. The final 4 episodes take so many twists and turns, I cannot recommend this show more.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
Other than The Binding of Isaac, Balatro might have become the most well-known roguelike. It's so endlessly replayable. It's got gambling, and relatively short runs make it so easy to just jump in and play. There are so many different strategies that can be used to win, and while the balance of luck and skill isn't as good as Slay the Spire, I'd still say it's very much there. There's a high level of depth with build compositions, including how you build your deck, what jokers you use, spectral and tarot cards you use. There's so much depth to such a simple game. After buying my first Jackbox pack, Pack 9, in November of last year, I suddenly found my evenings change into hours upon hours of dumb fun with my friends. It was only a week later that I bought a bundle of the first 5 from a key shop online, and from there, my hours across the 6 that I own and Pack 7, which my friend owned, just increased. So many party pack games provided so much fun for me and my online friend group, so much that I started bringing Jackbox into other close circles. Trivia Murder Party, Madverse City, Quiplash 3, Survive the Internet, TKO, and Champed Up are all favourites for various different friend groups and families, but also so many others are regular opens for me. I will admit that a lot of Jackbox party pack games require some level of cooperation and house rules with the groups you're playing it with, and it doesn't work for all friend groups, but the Jackbox packs are such perfect party game options for the majority of friend groups. After listening to Older by Lizzie McAlpine in mid-2024 and enjoying it, I ended up re-listening to it at the start of last year. And I was met with one of the most beautiful pop-ish albums I have ever heard. But obviously, since I listened to it in 2024, it doesn't qualify. So in April, I decided to listen to her 2 previous albums, 5 Seconds Flat and Give Me a Minute. Unfortunately, they weren't as good. But fortunately, they were still absolutely phenomenal. Give Me a Minute was released in 2020 and is the weakest of the 3, but is absolutely filled with great tracks. I absolutely love Over the Ocean Call, I Knew, Pancakes for Dinner, but my personal favourite on the album is Same Boat, which is such a beautiful pop ballad. On the other hand, 5 Seconds Flat comes extremely close to Older in my opinion. It has some absolutely phenomenal tracks and is much closer to a more traditional pop style than the other 2. My favourites on the album include Erase Me, Reckless Driving, Hate to Be Lame, and of course Ceiling, which is the only of her songs to be relatively successful in the charts due to TikTok. But the best song on either of these 2 albums is Orange Show Speedway. Such a fun and upbeat song from a relatively toned down, laid back set of 3 albums.
Hello, Clancy.
I really don't have that much to say about what might be my favourite album by my favourite band. Breach by 21 Pilots is a near perfect album in my opinion. Almost every song is incredible, but Drum Show, Centre Mass, Downstairs and Tally are all near perfect songs for me. My only problem comes with the final track, Intentions, which I don't dislike, but I don't think works as an album closer. So now that Drag Path, the true album closer, has been made accessible to everyone, I am comfortable considering Breach one of my top 3 favourite albums of all time, and my favourite piece of media I consumed in 2025. Thank you all for watching. I've been Joel, but you can call me the Power Tripper.